All rural communities have been slowly dying for decades. Once essential businesses lost now to big box stores in towns and cities within driving distance, bustling main streets gone silent, rich histories built by blood, sweat, and tears are now forgotten, destroyed by e commerce, undercut by convenience. Downtown Providence is no different. Only a block long in this tiny farming community, there are a few businesses still holding on. Hutchinson's Hardware has survived on two things: Will Hutchinson's friendship with the biggest ranchers in this part of the state, and the gun counter at the back of the store. The Blue Rose is the legacy of Sabella's family. Sabella has kept the store open with hard work, changing with the times, and the offer of help to those that need it. One of the last running businesses in downtown Providence is Wendell's Cafe and Bait, tucked between an old butcher shop, long since boarded over, and Max's Barber, closed 10 years ago after Max passed through the veil. Wendell's is a staple of the residents here. The biscuits and gravy are talked about by everyone in town. This is also the local watering hole. There is a honky-tonk down the highway, but the true locals and the old-timers do their social drinking here. When breakfast is put away, the beers come out. It's closed by 7 at the latest, but the regulars start drinking much earlier than that. It's morning in Providence, and Sabella sits at the counter of this small cafe, listening to the gossip of the event that happened the day before. Sherry, the 30-something cook and waitress, is in the kitchen working on bacon and eggs. Wendell is preparing a new batch of coffee for this giant bun 6-pot brewer circa 1964. Sabella, describe your thoughts and actions, if there are any, as you eat your breakfast. In fact, what are you having for breakfast, and how are you feeling today after what happened yesterday?
So, Sabella isn't new to death. She witnessed basically her parents' death not too long ago. Um, and so she kind of has a real faraway look as she is eating her breakfast. She is having toast, white toast, with probably some eggs, you know, maybe like a slice of ham. She's not really a bacon type of girl. And she's just sitting there, staring off into the distance, just munching.
What are the thoughts that roll around in your brain as you silently eat your breakfast, contemplating what's going on? A few of the locals have popped in and out to grab coffee or some breakfast to go.
It was one of those deaths that it didn't make sense, right? Like, she knows what she saw, but something isn't right. Boy died, and Daisy did her best. She watched her try to save this boy's life, but there's too much moss. That green, slimy lake goo. There's just so much.
Does the moss concern you?
Does. It gives her a weird feeling, like a prickle at the back of her neck.
I love those particular prickles. Make a roll plus soul.
$19.
What do you think is going on with the moss?
She has no idea. She's racked her brain endlessly since yesterday. She just keeps thinking like the handfuls that, and it wasn't just like a little bit, like the time it would take to maybe like suck in some water and suck in just like a handful of moss, but it was so much, and it just kept going, and there's no possible reason behind this.
Lots of different images can pass through your mind while you're trying to rationalize the amount of that green moss, and you can almost picture the boy at the bottom of this mossy pond of sorts, struggling for air, and every time he gasped and sucked in, taking in huge amounts of water into his lungs, maybe vacuuming in some of that almost snot-like green stuff when it's in the water, choking, his eyes turning red and bulging. And your mind sort of swims with these images, or you see Daisy pulling him out, and the water splashing, the convulsions as his body was trying to reject the substance or breathe or somehow hang on to life. And for just half a second, it looks as though to you that Daisy might have been able to do more, that maybe she didn't look like she was really trying that hard, now that you're looking back at it and you keep seeing these images over and over again, and it makes you feel uncomfortable, and you can shake it out of your head. Wendell keeps an obnoxiously loud cowbell tied to the inside knob of the cafe's door. He claims it belonged to a buffalo herder from the 1800s. It's an old bell, and it's very large. Sometime back before we wiped them all out, he said. And you hear it ring, brings you out of this vision, although a ring is a really pretty word for the noise that this thing makes, but it alerts you and Wendell and even Sherry in the back that Elliot has just entered the cafe in bait. Elliot, describe for the audience what they see when looking upon Elliot Hammonds as you walk into the cafe today.
So Elliot is probably around 5'7", 5'6", somewhere in there. So she's just above being short, but not by much. She wears really dark, high-waisted jeans. You see sneakers on her feet. She's wearing a black cropped hoodie. So there's like just a little tiny section of midriff sticking out. The next thing you kind of notice is she wears a lot of heavy, dark black eyeliner and eyeshadow. She has a black nose ring in. She's pretty pale. She has a beauty mark on her chin. And the next big indication that it's Elliot is that she has this really big, light brown curly hair, just like her mom. And it's cut pretty short, probably just to about her chin length. She has a big long chunk of it that hangs in her face, and a half bun is up on her head. It's also kind of a messy, curly bun. So it kind of contrasts how dark and sad like her brown eyes are, as she kind of looks around the room and settles on Sabella. And she gets this weird kind of like half smile on her face as she waddles over to say hi. But she doesn't say anything first. She just kind of like smiles at Sabella and like looks at what she's eating and looks at her.
So, for those who don't know, Elliot Hammonds is the daughter. Everyone in town knows your mother, Georgia. She's the poor soul that's been running the 2 zip code post office here in Providence. A very small post office. I think there's only 200 boxes in there for those who don't have the mailboxes at home. I feel like live in town. What does Wendell typically call you? Does everybody call you Elliot? Why the name Elliot? Is that like known around town why you're called Elliot?
Yes. So my mom is obsessed with Sam Elliott, the actor with his giant mustache. So she settled on the name Elliot because her father, who ended up taking off, did not like the name Samantha. So Elliot it was. Most everybody calls her Elle or Ellie, and unless you're like being very proper with her, and she'll kind of roll her eyes, but she responds to all 3 names, but she prefers Elle or Ellie.
You know, Wendell calls out to you as if he sees you frequently. Coffee, Ellie?
Yes. Can I have like a large? Because I gotta get through this day. And can I have some of that like almond joy coffee creamer stuff that I saw in the store the other day that I brought you a jug of just for me? And she gives him like a cheesy smile and kind of like brushes her curl off of her face to seem more innocent as she bats her eyelashes.
You can hear Sherry call from the back saying something about she told him about it the other day. And he said, oh, you're the one who ordered or wanted that. All right. They're all large coffees, Ellie. You say the same thing every time. Every day it's the same number of hours.
Just trying to make sure that you know what's going on, you know?
He starts to fix your coffee.
She turns back to Sabella and just kind of puts her hands on her hips and smiles. You're not in the dusty old bookcases right now?
No, I decided to come out into the real world and, breathe some fresh air. I do that from time to time.
Probably good for you every now and again. And she looks away and kind of seems a little nervous, but she doesn't really comment on it. So I heard about what happened with that boy. It was pretty sad.
Yeah. It was weird, huh? Right? It was. What'd you hear about it exactly?
I just stuff through the grapevine that maybe Daisy was involved in.
But like the details, like what specifically, and like Sabella kind of like straightens up and she's almost acting like agitated, worried.
Ellie kind of like fidgets and looks at her shoes, pulls out her phone, glances at the clock. It's probably just hearsay, but I did hear that a kid drowned and it was kind of rough. I'm sorry, Sibel. I have to go to class.
No,
I'm just stopping to get coffee, but I promise I'll stop by the Blue Rose later and maybe we can talk about it.
no, I'm sorry, but are you really going to class right now? It's
She just like shakes her head and like
July.
stares at the ground and like rubs the back of her neck. I sort of kind of failed one of my psychology classes, so I have to take it over the summer. But the professor is kind of cool and kind of cute, so I guess it makes it worth it. But
I mean, I guess that kind of sucks though.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of my fault. So
Yeah, you can, don't be a stranger.
Elliot,
All
roll plus intuition for. Sorry to interrupt, Sabella.
It's okay. I really didn't know where I was going with it.
No,
I
that's
was
fine. You were
cuffing
saying
it.
goodbye.
I got 14.
Elliot, you can see Sabella seems pretty upset about something, and it occurs to you that yesterday was the anniversary of the day her parents died, as well as the day that this boy drowned.
You see a look of like, I'm such an idiot, and she kind of like puts her hand up to her head and then like stares at you again, and she goes, "Oh my God, Sibel, I am so sorry. I totally forgot about yesterday. I was, and Oliver was sick, and I was just."
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's really, Daisy took me fishing, and no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's been a while. I don't expect you to remember, I guess.
No, I just, Ollie was sick, and I had to,
Yeah.
and I'm really
kids,
sorry,
your kids come first. I get it. And
Oh.
Isabella will just like drain the rest of her coffee.
Narrator interruption. Tell us about the kid.
So Elliot is the same age as Sabella, which is 23. And when they were in high school, their senior year, Elliot kind of got involved with the quarterback of the football team and got pregnant and had a son, and his name is Oliver, and he's cute and pudgy, and she feels kind of bad because she didn't really want him, but there was no way she was going to abort him with her mother and where they live. And so she's raising him, but she relies on her mom pretty heavily to help her out financially and everything. She's trying to go to school, and has not heard from the quarterback of the football team. He went off to go play for some big college in some big town, and he's dating some new chick, and it's fine. She gets it. She was not the popular one in school, and he was just having fun, and she paid the consequences for it. So
I grew up in a place, well, just like Providence, and of course this was a different time. How was it? How's it been being there? I mean, I know what it was like, let's say the 80s. But, time and place, of the community pretty welcoming, or do they brand you with a scarlet letter?
it's a little bit of both. Some of the younger generation kind of like looks at her in pity because they know who the guy was and how successful he is and how he's going to be some big football player. So they look at her like, "Oh, you're the sad whore." And then there's like the older generation that are like, "You're not a sad whore, you're just a whore." So they kind of avoid her, but they're like nice to her face, but she can hear them talking about her behind her back. And she tries not to let it bug her, but it kind of does. And she tries not to like fight anybody over it, but it definitely upsets her to a certain extent.
Right. Okay. Just curious. And I like to think of my little interruptions and questions as just moments to help the audience out. I like to think of them all as a little community here in Providence, and they get a little inside information on some of the gossips. They can draw their own conclusions based on what you've said. When you two have this moment eye to eye, this sort of realization about how each other feels and the circumstances regarding all of the situations that have been previously mentioned, there is what in the literary world we would describe as a flash. Not a literal flash, but a flash moment. Kind of like when you meet somebody that you fall in love with for the first time. Not that same sort of flash, but a flash nonetheless. And I want both of you to give me a roll plus 0.
$14.
Not terrible. I had a 10.
Not awful.
No, they were perfectly fine. Nondescript. I'm not getting too detailed about that yet. We're not into all that mystical mumbo jumbo at this particular point in time. You do notice, though, now whether the other person noticed this or not, you don't know. As a matter of fact, the only people who know that this happened simultaneously is us in the meta and our audience. Elliot and Sabella, when you have this eye-to-eye moment, there is a flash of a memory. It's the only way I would be able to describe it. It goes quick in time. In your mind, it actually sort of plays out a little bit longer. It's a tree. And this flashes, I don't know, it's sort of got that shaky sort of look. You don't really know where the tree is. It looks like could be any tree, any place out here. Some birds fly. It's cloudy sky, and it's gone. But it takes you in a visceral kind of way. It was vivid, intense. You almost felt it. In a sense, it was almost as if somebody was trying to show it to you. It was just sort of as shocking in a way. You might want to keep this information to yourself because people look weird when you sort of have these sort of moments, and you neither one have the knowledge that the other person just saw it, but you both just witnessed it. And I want you both to give me a willpower roll.
A solid 14.
A 16. I'm on fire tonight, y'all.
You notice it. You don't know what it was. You don't know what it meant. Only you alone saw it. It just happened to be when you caught eyes and you had this sort of understanding about what it was you were talking about. And now we're going to go back to that conversation right after that moment. Neither one of you are showing any outward signs that you've been shocked. Internally, you've noticed something. Elliot was talking about being late for school, and then
Yeah.
Right.
she cut back.
You know, it's just it's not bad. I mean, it's my own fault. I should have passed the class, but I didn't. So summer school for me, just like old times, huh?
Yeah, well, maybe after you get out of class, I don't know. Maybe we can hang out at the Rose or something. Or you can stop by. I can you know.
You see Elliot for sure like shuffle her feet. You can see she's like smiling at the ground, but she's refusing to look up.
It's
Just
about that time, Ellie, that you see this big, like a 24-ounce white styrofoam lidded cup kind of stuck right in your face, almost obnoxiously. Here's your coffee, Ellie. And then he turns to Sabella and says, "What time do you get out of school, Ellie?"
she's got like
Asks the GM.
like around noonish.
Oh, perfect.
So he interrupts himself into this conversation by thrusting this coffee in and answering the question for you, Sabella, and telling you, "Oh yeah, she gets back in town around 1 o'clock this afternoon. You guys should come over and have a beer or something, maybe." We usually do twofers between 4:30 and 5:30.
I mean,
not a bad idea, is it? And she like
yes.
smiles at Sabella like this cheeky little like, we could get in trouble.
Sabella just kind of like smiles and she like shrugs. She's like, I could close the rose down early.
She just like leans forward and gives you like the biggest grin.
All right, fine, all right.
That's a yes, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. She's like trying not to be overly excited, but you can tell she's really excited.
Yeah, Sabella's excited too. They haven't done this in a really long time. But you know, Elliot is her closest friend her age, and life gets in the way, so she's excited that they just get some time to be together.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've hung out, and I just I'm sorry. I should be better about calling and texting and checking in.
No, I mean, no, man. I get it. Real life is hard. Being adults is really hard. Running a business in this town is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not to mention you have a whole child that came out of you. So
Right. Yeah.
You hear Wendell interrupt from behind the counter. He says, "Ellie, you get them windshield wipers changed," and he points out the glass, and you can kind of see up towards where you go to school at Wheat State, which is about 30 minutes north of this particular location. There's sort of like this growing thunderstorm.
She just like makes a pained face at the storm, and she's like, shit. No, but I will go early so that I can stop at the store and pick some up. I think there's like an auto parts or something like right near the school or in town. Yes, okay, thank you. And she's like already trying to like walk away, but you can tell she really doesn't want to leave. She wants to keep talking to Sabella, so she's doing this like back and forth, like talking and then kind of walking away and then coming back and then walking again. And
oh my god, just go. You're stressing me out.
I know, but I sorry. I'll see you at like 1-ish when I get out of class. Yes.
Yes. Or I thought we were meeting at 4 to 5 because that's when they're doing. Yes, happy hour.
We could start early. We could start early and just be ready for the day. And she's like still backing towards the door.
Oh my god, please just leave. I will text you. Okay, you're gonna be late for class. You're gonna get in a wreck. Your windshield wipers, you're not gonna put them on your car. Just get out of this restaurant.
I'm gonna go get windshield wipers. I will see you. I'm going. Okay, bye. I'll see you later. Text you. And she like finger guns out the door.
Sabella's just like sitting there in disbelief. Like, what a fucking train wreck that interaction was.
You just see Ellie like go bailing for her car and like getting in and like putting her coffee down, and she's plugging in her phone and she's like trying to hurry. It's just
you're gone, Elliot.
She's shaking her head, and she She eats her toast. Jesus.
I love it. Real quick, Sabella, before we get to Daisy, um, what are your thoughts about Elliot? How do you what you're going to have to assign Elliot a relationship value. I'm not going to have you tell me any particular story right now, but give the audience some insight as to how Sabella feels about Elliot.
So Elliot, she small town. You go to school with the same people, you know, to babies to graduating high school. Like that,
Yep.
you are in the same class. You see the same, 100 people every single day. Elliot was one out of those 100 people that Sabella actually liked. They did everything together. They went and got their noses pierced together, or maybe they like forged each other's mom's signature, because obviously they did it like when they were 15 and definitely not legal to do it. They were partners in crime. Elliot's her best friend. Elle is great, but then she got pregnant, and then Sabella's parents died, and then so much responsibility was thrust upon two people of a really young age, and they drifted apart for sure. Phone calls got fewer and fewer. You see each other in the grocery store and you just kind of do a wave and a hey and a
Just through life or emotionally, I mean, nobody did anything like
yeah, no, nobody did anything. She still thinks the world of her, but
right. Way it goes
life.
sometimes. Yeah. Speaking of life, we're going to switch scenes, and assuming all of my stuff continues to work, we are going to flip over to the is and when I think of life in Providence, Daisy's always the guidepost on which we gauge so much stuff. This morning, while Isabella's having breakfast and they have their conversation, Daisy, you are at home and you have, I'm sure you probably have a routine. Um, oh, I don't want to say a woman of your age, but a woman of your prominence. I don't know what the right word is. You know what I mean?
That's good enough.
Some sort of. I'm trying to find something with some sense of respect because I do have some sort of respect. But describe what Daisy does in the mornings and walk us through your routine. What do you do?
Oh, goodness. I have to rethink her whole routine. I've got the house figured out. I know she is an early riser, always. 5 o'clock sharp isn't really an odd thing for her. So when she did show up to Sabella's house the day previous when the accident came, she was, wide awake. That's normal. So she gets up. She doesn't even have an alarm set for it anymore. It's just automatic 5 o'clock. Her brain wakes her up. She can't go back to sleep. And she sleeps in a room on the ground level floor of an old Victorian wooden house that's just falling apart, but it's been in her family for generations. She's on a large king-size bed with few pillows and a single quilt with a box fan that's always running in the corner. Even if she's not home, it's always going. When she wakes up, the first thing she does is reach down blindly and pet an old bloodhound named Bess that likes to sleep in the bed with her, close to her feet. It's like Daisy, like her truck, like her house, an ancient dog that's just wrinkled and covered in drool and can barely see a thing. But Daisy has a soft spot for her, so she always pets her, climbs out of bed, gets dressed, puts on an eye patch, and feeds her dog. And the dog has food and water set in the corner of her bedroom, and a bathroom's just off to the side. She doesn't. The dog's name is Bess. Bess. She's a good old girl.
Of course she is.
The bedroom is pretty plain. It's just got the bed and her dresser. She has little belongings, little clothes, but something of note in the corner of the bedroom is a sort of workstation. It's a desk that has several blocks of different types of wood that are neatly arranged and a lamp with a bright light overhead. And wood shavings litter the surface. It's a whittling station. Daisy has her hobbies. Not many people know. Probably only Sabella knows. She doesn't sell these creations. She doesn't really do anything with them but make them in her spare time. There's a half-finished bear, and it looks... Yeah?
I'm gonna make a note. We're at the bear.
I have so many details for you.
How many of these little wood... Are they little, big? Are we talking just like little whittlings, or are we talking like some like?
Most of them are little whittlings that you can like hold in your hand, right. Like little like figures, like in a more modern sense, Nintendo amiibos. They're like that size. They're like.
So does she display these? Does she will them and throw them in a drawer or box or?
They're mostly in a milk crate. Yeah. Actually, a milk crate on the floor, and then she has several on the desk. There's a few that are bigger, and the one she's currently working on that's half finished, it's larger, about the size of roughly a basketball comes to mind somehow. And it actually looks pretty good so far. A few finished pieces are on the top shelf of the desk, like I said, and some of these are incredibly detailed. Most of them are animals, but a select few of them are strange, unidentifiable creatures, and she just thought of them. She's not sure why, but she did, and they sit on her desk. She doesn't like to read, except if it's the newspaper. Right. She probably doesn't even know what Lovecraft is, because I don't.
All right. Well, tell me what you were saying about the bear. Sorry to interrupt. All the little, you said you didn't give them away or anything, so I just could imagine all these wood carvings.
Yeah, she's got like she's got like a duck and a deer, and then like something that looks like a yeti, with big sharp teeth and long claws, and then like a nice dog.
Stuff that you take a lot of time on then.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it's not like you do.
She's not hunting or at Wendell's or at the Blue Rose or just doing what Daisy does and being paranoid and driving around the town. She's probably whittling and sitting with her dog either on her porch or in her room. She feeds the dog, gets up, walks around the house, goes to the kitchen and gets some cereal. I actually have a description of her house here. I'm just going to say because I'm trying to like jump around, but it still has its original wood paneling on the outside that's like gray and rotted in various places. You know the houses, the kind of old decrepit places that like kids would throw bricks through the windows to kind of sneak in, and rumors that it's haunted. Right. When Daisy came back to town, she kicked a few of these kids out that were hunkering down and put new windows on and even put bars up on the windows to prevent any other kind of break-in and just for her own sense of safety. The front porch has like one of those old swings on it with rusted chains that scream when you shift any sort of weight on it, and an old plastic chair with a small table that houses an ashtray. There's like a spot on the porch that's worn in and a little bit dented, like the wood has like cracks from bending that her old bloodhound, if it's not in bed with her, it's on that spot in the porch. The house itself is 3 stories with a basement, a level floor, and the upstairs. It's far too big for Daisy to live by herself, but she does it anyway. It's filled with old dusty memories that she hasn't bothered to remove. And when you walk through the front door that has a moth-eaten screen and a newish brown door after that, it's a very heavy door with multiple locks and chains attached to it. So anytime she enters the house, it's a hassle. It takes her like a couple of minutes. Her basement is dingy and cobwebbed with a large gun safe, a freezer full of meats where she keeps from her kills when she goes hunting. Level floor has a coat rack to the right when you walk in, along with some shoes, and decorating the walls are like several old picture frames, like black and white family photos of relatives long past. Some of the same photos that Sibylla keeps in the blue rose of Daisy with her grandmother. The classic marks on the wooden door frame to the living room, age marks showing how Daisy and her cousins, and even Lucy, Sibylla's grandmother, grew up over the years. It's got their names marked, what age they are, the date, everything. A closet under the stairs is full of fishing supplies where she actually stored her supplies from the night before. And her living room has one of those really old, like classic boxy TVs with the cable antenna that has a circle and the 2 points. She mostly just uses that for news. Another cigarette butt-filled ashtray sat next to a large, plump maroon armchair in there, and a picture behind the ashtray shows a jolly fat man sitting on the same armchair, much newer, with a happy child curled up on his lap, her father. She's got a couch and a coffee table, and it's got the old wallpaper that curls at the corner of the walls with like roosters, on the wallpaper at the very top, and the water-stained ceilings. And then the kitchen, which is pretty sizable. The dining room table is barely used except for the head of it, where Daisy sits and eats her meals alone. And when she exits her room, she goes to this kitchen, pours herself some cereal, grabs some milk from the barely filled fridge that mostly has beer, and sits down, and the bloodhound just follows her throughout the house as she does this. The kitchen's clean enough. An old china cabinet is behind her while she eats, and it's in there with fine pattern plates and cutlery, but it's awfully dusty, the key long forgotten. She uses mostly paper plates, and right now she's eating from a styrofoam bowl in the morning because it's easy, you just throw it away. A notable thing in her kitchen is a large grouping of windows, and there's a string on the ceiling that hangs several herbs to dry. So she has her own little garden outside. One thing about her house is there's nothing from her time in the war. Not out in the open, anyway. She doesn't display any medals or pictures or anything that indicates that she served. The only pictures that are in there in the house are from a time before she left. It's common knowledge that she's a veteran, but she doesn't talk about it other than the chain of dog tags that she keeps on her neck.
Does she have medals and photos and all that kind of stuff that go along with that sort of a career?
They're in the upstairs, which is mostly untouched. The upstairs has a few old bedrooms, another bathroom, and an attic, and all of that sort of paraphernalia is tucked away in a box, locked up.
So she did keep it.
Yeah.
So...
But yeah, that's mostly what she does. She'll get up and eat cereal and read the newspaper, and if she's not eating cereal, she'll go to Wendell's.
Oh, right on. You've got this sort of, I noticed this sort of separation in your past. You've got this sort of mid-recent past of military service, and then you have what was represented by the picture with your father, and you even sort of described it verbally as the happy time, in a sense. Is your life divided in that sort of sense, or do you block out that military time? Let's say someone says, Daisy, did you have a good life? How would you describe your life? Do you look back on it fondly or miserable?
She had a very happy childhood. She loved growing up in Providence. She wouldn't have grown up any other way. She grew up, she knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody's business, and she was fine with this. Growing up, she was fine with this. Now that she's older, not so much. She loved her family. She was an only child, a little bit spoiled, a tomboy. Forced to go to church on Sundays and forced to wear dresses, always pouted about it.
I always thought growing up in the 60s was like the perfect time to be an only child.
Yeah.
So much middle class money flowing around.
It's a good sign.
I
No,
need
she
to-
loved her childhood, but there's definitely a block there. She doesn't ever really talk about her time after leaving Providence. To Sabella, she said a few things,
Right.
but
I'm sure we'll get to that. The next thing I'm curious about is what kind of phone do you use?
there's an old landline phone that's attached to the wall in the kitchen. It's got that curly cord, and it's
Do you
big.
keep a cell phone?
No.
Your landline rings.
She lets it ring for a little bit before, and seeing that it like doesn't get hung up, she'll groan, because it's one of those that'll just keep ringing forever and ever, and get up, scoot her chair back, and go over and pick it up. Yellow.
Yeah, you hear a little bit of static, and then
Yeah, is this Daisy Hamilton?
Who's this?
Miss Hamilton, thanks for taking the time. My name is Jack Mewman. I am over here at the Langston Gazette. We still print, one of the only ones left out here in the country.
Yeah, I read the paper.
Yeah, well, I was, I do some of the local writing.
I'm not talking about the boy.
You're talking about the boy that drowned?
Yeah, if you want to know about that, you can ask one of the dozen or so teenagers that were there.
Oh, bless your heart. Yeah, I know. I already talked to some of them kids, but I was kind of hoping sort of an adult insight in a sense. And maybe just off the record, I won't quote you. I'm just kind of curious as to what happened.
Am I gonna get some kind of payment for this? Why would I want to tell you? It was an awful thing. A child died. You try to capitalize off of that?
Well, no, but I think it's important to the readers of the local community. There's already so much gossip going around. Nobody knows what the real story was.
What do you think the real story was, huh?
You're such a blessing. Well, I think there was probably just a drowning. Had eyewitness, front row seats, testimony. Say,
a drowning? Oh, that's an easier way to put it. Sure, you could say that.
sorry, you don't think it was a drowning? By that?
No, I know it wasn't a drowning. I know it was more than just a drowning, but crazy old Daisy Hamilton. Listen, last time I was on the front page of the news, it was because y'all were thinking I was making up some nonsense. I don't like bringing attention to myself.
Oh, now, Daisy, I think you've always known me. If you've ever read any of my stories, remember, I'm Jack Mewman. If you've ever read any of my stuff, you know, kind of on your side about things. Bit of a conspiracist myself. What did you think happened?
I think something got him. It wasn't just any ordinary sort of drowning. That boy's entire body was filled with some kind of moss. Now, I tried, but I'm no hero. I'm old. I tried to get the youngins to do it, but none of them were making themselves useful at all. So, yeah, I jumped in after him. I pulled him out of the water. I threw him on top of the deck, and I tried to do CPR. Wasn't doing shit. So I tried to pull. He had some kind of... You want to believe me if I...
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. I performed CPR on him. I tried my best. There's only so much you can do when a boy's lungs is filled with something like that. It was unnatural.
How long had the boy been underwater before to get him out?
I don't know. What do you think I am, a stopwatch?
Oh, of course
Long
not.
enough.
Oh, good heavens, no, of course not. Um, but you don't think it was just water? It was something different than that.
Oh, there's definitely something in those strip pits. I've been saying it for years.
Well, there has always been that rumor that the kids talked about a monster living in that pond, but there's been a monster living in every pond around here, if you believed everything the kids say. Well, I really appreciate your time, Miss Hamilton. Anything you'd like to say on the record? You want to get a quote in, even if it's about something else? I'll put you in.
Nope, not at all. Goodbye.
Jab against the government.
I don't have the energy for it right now.
All right, then. I really appreciate your time. Now, you've got caller ID. Do you see my number there on your?
No, I
Here, jot
don't.
this down. If you get any details that you find out about, or if some other adult that's got some information that you pass along to me, would you give it?
All right. Okay, go ahead. And she does not have pen and paper at all. Go ahead. I'll write it down.
He just reads off his number and wishes you well, thinking that he's won you over a little bit in his own naive way. Daisy, make a roll plus soul for me.
Roll plus soul. The intense silence. Okay, there we go. 12.
12. What do you think that stuff was? What's your theory?
Part of the reason Daisy doesn't talk much about her past is because a lot of it she doesn't remember. But she believes in things like monsters, boogeymen hiding under your bed and in your closet. She always keeps a nightlight on. She always has her closet door open. She always has everything under her bed cleaned out. There's been a rumor for a long time about a big fish in those strip pits. And she's caught one or two, but it was never as big as the rumor said. And she knows she's old, and she knows people think she's crazy. But as far as Daisy is concerned about herself, she's the only one in the right mind. She knows that she saw that shadow, and she knows that she felt something on the boat that wasn't a teenager trying to push it over. So she fully believes there's a monster in that lake.
Something could definitely be afoot. How does Daisy describe it verbally when she tells somebody that I'll use this phrase, her radar is up?
Something don't feel right about this situation.
Gotcha.
It's always her gut. Like, it's always a lot talking about her gut. Like, my stomach doesn't like it, or I feel tight about it. Like, she just feels like she has this intuition that nobody else has and nobody else understands. Like, Yeti, real. Bigfoot, real. Nessie, real. Possibly in this strip pit. Like, she just... It's no wonder people think that she's crazy.
No. And you probably pass it off as something that happens frequently. You guys are somewhat friends, or are friends. Sabella is the name that sort of crosses your mind as you're sort of putting away the thoughts about yesterday from the reporter. You don't know why you think of her in sort of this, an emotion comes with it of somehow being the solution, that maybe all that stuff she has couldn't be. And the thought
I
is fun.
definitely believe in some of the stuff that Sabella does. Like I see that crystal ball, and I know she's done tarot card
Well,
kind of
maybe
stuff.
then it's more a concern about
But
things happening and
yeah,
story of what's to come. But it's a good place for us to take a break. And we'll come back with a new scene here in about 10 minutes or so. We'll be right back. We're at the Blue Rose. Love the Blue Rose. You get all
Quite
kinds
fond
of
of
cool
it too.
Sabella, after you get done with your breakfast, you've had this vision, as the flash that we described, that your brain and the things that you're interested in, which we're going to get to, is deciphering that right now. It's part of your process, I assume. It is with anybody who is interested in the occult or magic or any of that sort of hubbub. You were thinking about, or having this moment with Elliot. That's a key factor. I'm just trying to pinpoint a couple of these things so that they don't get lost in the mix as you're going back to the Blue Rose to get open. Do you open up every day during the week?
Yeah. I'm the only one that works at the Blue Rose.
Right.
Yeah. So every day of the week, sometimes she'll take Sunday off. But not usually. She'll always be open at least a little bit during the day.
Right on. Mulling this over on your way back, thinking about Elliot and your past relationship and how you like Elliot.
Mm-hmm.
You keep bringing up that image of the tree, just this lone tree. If you're not on cam, mute your phone. And I don't know why you do this, but you turn your
what's up
head.
there?
You turn your head. I can do it. You
Oh shit, sorry.
Dang it, Jaylee.
broke me. Love it. It's something new, right? Got to get used to it. It's just I'm being overly dramatic. You have vivid images. When you process these things, you almost put yourself in this place. And this goes with your nature. Plus, that's sort of theater. It's a way to address you as a player, how you might see a memory, and how for just a split second you can almost sort of try to use your peripheral vision to get in a bigger image of a scope as you're trying to figure out where and what it is that you're seeing. And it's almost like when you do that little expanse, you can see Elliot standing there beside you, and then you try to focus and see if that's really, you saw a person for sure, that you thought it was Elliot. That's the name that came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
But now when you try to do it, you can't. And here you are at the Blue Rose, and you've got your morning routine to get through. What's going on this morning at the Blue Rose? It's the day after everything that happened. You still going to open today?
Yeah, she'll still open. It's not easy running a business when you're 23. Like, all the bills, they rack up day in, day out. So yeah, she'll open just in hopes that someone will come in, buy a few books, whatever. She's been very distracted today. That's her overall mood, I guess you would say. It's just very distracted. She, she was distracted at Wendell's thinking about the moss, and now she's going through her motions, opening up the store. She'll come in the front door of her store, not the back like she would if it was just her going home. She'll open up the front, she'll click on the open sign, she'll go to the back wall, flip on the lights, and then she'll go to the hallway behind the counter, which is where the door to her upstairs house would be. She'll open that, call kitty, 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 to let know Babadook that she's home, She then grabs her lighter and starts going around and lighting candles that are like on tops of the bookshelves, like the low like waist level type bookshelves. She has like some of those. So she'll light all the various candles and go around lighting incense. She'll then.
How many candles do you light every morning?
God. Like in the main storefront, 15. But in the back, where she heads to now that everything looks open, ready to go, she goes to her back room, and she opens the door, and you see a small circular sized room, just big enough for the whole back wall is just books up to the ceiling, just books and shelves, tons of books. And then in the middle of the room is a table, a circular table with 3 chairs around it. In the middle of the table, you see an object, a circular object covered with a black cloth. You see crystals and candles, incense. You see tarot cards. You even see a tea set, on a shelf. Just odds and ends, like very eclectic occult stuff.
So to get an idea of space, how much room is there between the sitting at the table area and over at the wall where the shelves are?
Not much. All the way around, it's enough to like pull back the chairs, comfortably for someone to get in and out of the chairs, and then that's about it.
Rather small.
Yeah, it's a glorified closet.
So you light all the candles, and I think we discussed here the memento, the crystal ball that you found in the other episode, which is what I'm assuming is under the cloth.
Yes.
You don't have to tell me. I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. What else do you do in here as a routine?
Yeah, in here she'll just light 3 candles at this time. And she'll kind of like, I don't know. She has this routine. She doesn't know why she does it. It's just, I guess, a habit now. But she'll go around and she'll have a hand on the bookshelf as she just goes around the room, touching the bookshelf all the way around. But something stops her from leaving the room this time. And she'll turn back and she'll look at the crystal ball, bite her lip, and she actually sits down at the table and uncovers the crystal ball.
What are you hoping to do? What are you thinking about? I'm very interested. Talk me through what you're thinking and doing here.
She's still fixated. She she doesn't think it's a coincidence that that boy died yesterday. She also doesn't think it's a coincidence that, that image of that tree and those birds, that just keeps flashing in her mind. When she's distracted, she searches for an answer in the way that she knows how.
So when you say you don't think it's coincidence, you're talking about the death and the day
Mm-hmm.
being the anniversary of your parents' death.
Indeed. Indeedy.
So, what does Sabella hope that she can accomplish? I mean, you uncover it. Are you like searching for insight or hoping for
Yeah.
another vision or?
Yeah. An insight, maybe a hint or a clue as to, maybe what this all could mean. She kind of clears her mind, and the first thing that she thinks about is the moss. That's all she has in her head, is just all of that moss that comes out of that boy, and the image of Daisy just pulling handfuls and handfuls and handfuls out of this boy's mouth of the pond moss. And that's what she focuses on as she places her hands on the crystal ball and peers inside.
Okay, roll plus soul for me.
Okay.
I'm curious. I want to see what happens.
Me too. Good thing soul is my best. What I get.
A 14. Let me ask you this first. Because we live in the real world, has Sabella? So I'm gonna say this sentence from this naysayer's perspective. Has Sabella ever thought she's seen something in this crystal ball prior to today?
Absolutely. Usually the way it works for her, she's just really been playing with it for, 4 years. Okay.
Right.
As
Well, they're toys.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I'm still being the naysayer.
Yes. No, she takes this very seriously. She's seen colors, or she has thought maybe she sees a name. A lot of the times the colors, because she has books. All these books in this room is all about this kind of stuff. How to do it, tips, tricks, beginner witch, beginner Wiccan, beginner, the whole nine. She's got it in this room. So she's read tons of it, and the books about crystal balls and seeing colors and what color coincides with what kind of emotion, or I guess like positive, negative. It's all very interesting to her. And so she has definitely seen colors. She's seen numbers, names, or like.
Do you consider yourself a specialist in any one particular field of
occult stuff?
Oddball stuff, yeah.
She would say she's better at tarot cards than looking in her crystal ball. But she dabbles in all of it. The tarot, the crystal ball, the tea leaves, palm reading. You know, she loves it all.
Right.
But usually she does consult her tarot cards, especially with Daisy. Daisy's interested in her tarot a lot, and so she allows Sabella to practice with her. Sabella's also been doing tarot the longest. She picked it up in high school and is still doing it. The
I
crystal
like
ball
that.
is new, though.
That's cool. Well, I feel like tarot meta. Boy, do I have a thing for you. So you're focusing on your crystal ball. We got your roll plus soul. And you're kind of getting that feeling like you might see the light. I'm going to say this stuff with kind of a rolled eyes, just to sell my skepticism. And for some reason, meeting Elliot this morning is distracting you. It's almost like you're about to see a killer, but for some reason, you keep thinking about why was it bothers you. You know, you don't think about Elliot all the time. You see her from time to time, but it's not like she's on your mind. It's not like you worry about her more than you would worry about, you know, anybody else that was in the sort of same thing. But it sort of distracts you, and you start to sense an answer coming. And the bell on the front of the Blue Rose, where the door is, dings and pulls you out completely. You have a customer.
So as soon as she hears that ding, fuck.
Is Babadook in that room with you?
No, he's probably out front. And she just shakes her head and like rubs her forehead, her temple. And she covers the crystal ball back up and hurries up front.
Going out front, you can see, as you always take in, habitually, I assume, or at least I did when I ran stores, looking through my front glass at the parking lot and then zooming in on the door, you can see a county sheriff's deputy cruiser parked in front of your store. And Roy Applebaum, why don't you describe yourself? You can give it the Daisy House treatment if you like, but let the give the audience some insight as to what they see when they look upon Sheriff's Deputy Roy Applebaum.
Roy's a little bit over 6 feet. Never really took too much to measuring. Tends to stay in plain clothes most of the time. Doesn't see much point in being in uniform. Everybody knows me. Keep the badge on my hip, of course. Gun. Standard issue. Keep my hair crop type, but I let it grow out a little bit. I'm a little heavier around the midsection than I like to be, but stay fit.
Aren't we all? Do you have a hat?
No,
No.
not much for a hat guy.
My inner eye immediately goes to hatted. I saw you in a very nice Stetson. Just to let you know.
Maybe it's in the car.
If you ever want to, like, night out the casino or something. Have you been into the Blue Rose before?
Oh, yeah.
Are you familiar with Sabella's quirks?
Sibby's a nice enough kid. She's a little fucking weird, though.
Well, Roy, meet Sabella. Sabella, meet Roy.
Miss Richardson, how are you doing this morning?
Officer, I'm doing well, thank you. And she kind of like leans against the counter.
I suppose you know why I'm here.
I suppose.
Well, before the county coroner gets done with the autopsy, I gotta take your statement. I'm gonna have to get in touch with Miss Hamilton as well, I assume.
Oh, I'm sure if you hang around here, you'll find her sooner rather than later.
Oh, Lord, I don't think I can take that today.
So what do you want to know?
Does she have like a chair that he can sit in or anything?
Yeah. So there's bean bags, but there's also like a couch and like a chair pushed together over in a corner.
Is there a little like a little table at least? 'Cause I gotta have something to write on.
Yeah, there's a table over there. There's like a little side table.
So he walks over to the chair and plops down on it. It kind of creaks a little bit. And he pulls out a notepad from his back pocket, and he had a folder under one arm. So he lays the folder on the table, opens it up, takes out his notepad, and reads a couple of things that are already written on it. All righty. Arnie Fincher, 13 years old.
13. Damn.
Sabella, what the fuck were you and Daisy even doing out there?
Well, God, we were just fishing.
It was like, what? Okay, I've been fishing a time or two. Usually you get out before the sun comes up. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God, you guys are like twins. Daisy says the same shit. Fuck. Yeah, okay. So she came over to my house. We had breakfast. It ran a little late because I guess we were just chit-chatting for too long. And we went out there and we're fishing. We fish all day long. That's just what we do on, you know, days like yesterday.
Oh, shit. Married Stu, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Daisy takes me out fishing every year.
Shit, I'm sorry, Sabella. I forgot.
It's fine. I really don't expect you to remember that. You know, it's you deal with a lot of cases. It's fine.
Sibby, you know I was the first one there.
Yeah, I know. And damn good it did, huh?
I did what I could.
I know.
Listen, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be insensitive about it. It's just a child died yesterday. Parents got questions I don't have answers for yet. He shuffles some papers around in the folder and pulls out one specifically. He makes a couple of check marks on it. All right. Now, let's see. Fuck. Almost none of this even applies. Fucking strip pits. I don't know why they don't have... They need to have those things blocked off.
There's good fishing in there. Daisy's caught a few good ones. It's those kids. Those kids shouldn't be.
I'll get there. Fucking little shits. All right.
They're the ones. They were
Italian.
drinking, and they had weed.
Listen, I'm not here to take some little fucking shitty kids into county because of doing a little weed right now. Not when there's a dead kid on the fucking dock out by the pit, all right?
Maybe if he wasn't doing the weed, he wouldn't be dead.
Oh, shut your fucking mouth.
I'm just saying. Those kids were out there up to no good, and that's why.
Oh,
one
and
of them
I'm sure
died.
you and Daisy were out there just being model fucking citizens, I'm sure.
Babadook
Anyway.
hisses from behind the fixture right there, the bookshelf.
All right.
Yeah.
He starts writing on the form. Arnold.
She'll
Fincher,
snap her fingers for Babadook to come sit on her lap.
13,
Well.
male. I'll get his address from his parents. All right. So you say these kids show up. You and Daisy are out there.
I'll lay out the whole scene for you. Make
All
no
right.
mistake. We were out there. We were drinking some beer. PBR, obviously. And we had been out there for what? Maybe an hour. And these kids pull up. Their loud ass music. Playing that shit you hear on the radio nowadays. And we yelled at them. We did. We were mad. They were ruining our fishing. They were scaring away all the fish. And then they started jumping in. And it was a big old party going on over there. I don't know. And then screaming starts happening. Says, oh man, there's a kid in the water. I wasn't going to help. But, Daisy's a better person than I am. And she jumps in. And it took her a couple tries, but she finally got him. And when she pulled him to the dock, officer, I'm going to tell you something crazy. I'm sure the coroner told you, but there's just tons of pond muck just shoved down his throat. There was just so much. And Daisy kept on trying to pull it out, and she was giving him CPR, and she was doing everything right, except there's just so much moss, and he couldn't catch a breath.
You sure it was the kids that had that weed out there?
What the fuck kind of question? Yes. What do you mean?
Listen, I heard nothing like that from the coroner yet.
Well, they'll tell you there was so much of it. How could you miss it?
I'm waiting for the autopsy. We got to get the facts before we get your weird hoodoo nonsense involved.
This isn't hoodoo. I don't do hoodoo, first of all. That's dangerous. Second of all, I'm telling you, there was moss. There was piles and just strands of that shit that's at the bottom of that pit.
Mm-hmm. Now, this fanciful tale that you're winding up for me here does not seem to make mention of the fact that Daisy unloaded a gun at those children.
You heard about that?
Oh, I heard about that, Spella. Yeah, I fucking heard about that.
Well, their damn music was just so loud, it was scaring off all the fish.
Spella, It was damn near noon. The fish were already fucking gone for the day. Jesus fucking Christ. What the hell is wrong with you?
Why do y'all think that fish have a bedtime of noon?
Have you say that Daisy takes you out fishing every year on the anniversary of your parents dying.
Yes.
And you don't fucking know that once the water gets... I'm not going to explain how fucking fishing works to you right now. All
I
right?
don't need a lesson on fishing. I'm just saying the fish are still in the water at all days, at all time
but they
of the
go
day.
down to the deeper parts. Okay.
It wasn't
listen.
that hot yesterday. Anyway, their Boise, Bose speaker was the only thing that got hurt. Daisy is an expert gun lady.
Sabella, I would
Yes.
like you to make a charisma roll. And Roy, I would like you to make a perception roll.
Okay.
And
a
I do
charisma.
read a person instead of perception.
Yeah,
For
it's say I'm on purpose not calling the moves by their names. Just
If you're lucky, I'm not here to defend myself.
Wow.
force the
That's so surprising. Charisma is one of the worst ones that I have, and I got a 14.
Well, I got an 18.
Well,
With those numbers, I would say that Sabella, you're pretty sure that you've been able to give him the information that you think he needs, and not whether you were actually trying to deceive him, but to your satisfaction of spin, I'll put it.
damn right.
Roy, you are perfectly aware of the spin that she has just put on the story, and that in and of itself gives you insight as to, when a person lies answering a question that you already know the answer to, not only does that give you information about that, but it also gives you some motivational information as well. So you can read even beyond that.
All right. I've got the nuts and bolts of your statement. However, I've spoken to most of those kids and their parents, and they've been saying that the minute they pulled up, you and Daisy started just screaming at him, going ape shit nuts, trying to get them to fuck off.
Well, would
And then
you
Daisy pulls a gun and starts firing at him.
firing at she shot off one bullet, officer. She had the one. It was one and done.
I want both of you to make me a soul roll, please.
Hot damn, I'm about to.
Mine was not better than a 9.
It was precisely a 9. Mine was way better than a 9 at a 15.
Yeah. That's how you remember it, Sabella, although the fact that other people are seeing it the other way, and in the world we live in of, how do they call it? Alternative facts. Sometimes it's difficult to sell truth, even though the evidence is right there in front of your face. Roy, how many times have you read this report?
Let's see. There were like half a dozen or more of those kids. I probably personally interviewed at least 4 or 5 of them already.
Flipping back to the ones that told you about the gunfire, you can see that the most credible of the group of people that were interviewed says that the gun was fired 6 times.
Right. So, Daisy shot once, according to your statement.
Absolutely. That is the God honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and there
And
is
you're
that little
willing-
corroborating fact that one of the boys is claiming a nick on the shoulder from one of the bullets as well. Sorry, continue.
And you are you're willing to sign that, make that your sworn statement regarding this
Absolutely.
incident?
Yes, sir. You
Sabella,
know,
I do not recommend you doing that.
why? It's honest truth. I'm not lying here, officer. Ask any one of them kids. Them kids probably been recording, probably uploaded it to their TikToks. I'm sure, it's on the social media somewhere, and you can see that, that's all they do. They just have their phone in their hand, just recording
Listen,
every single thing
Sabella,
about their life like it's
I do
important.
not give out legal advice typically when I am talking to folks. You do not want to sign your name to this document with that kind of a statement. All right?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's the truth. I saw it with my own eyes.
Listen, I can't tell you anymore, legally speaking, but you don't want to sign your name to that statement.
Well, then what should I sign my name to?
I mean, Daisy's a fucking nut job. Anyone in town is gonna just believe you if you say she went off and fired 6 fucking times, like half these damn kids are saying.
Why would I say that if it isn't true? Officer, I was right there. We weren't even that drunk. I saw
Bella,
everything.
Roll intuition for me, please.
I'm mad.
I know. I think this may help you out.
It didn't.
What did you roll?
No,
2 1s?
it goes perfect with what you're going on here because it is angry. I mean, it does make you angry, and you can hang on to that anger. The thought that comes to mind is you need to get a hold of Daisy. Daisy will know how to handle this. So if you can just get yourself out from underneath Roy for a moment, and be able to spend some time with Daisy, that you could probably get him information that he would perhaps let you, or his advice would be to sign. Maybe that's kind of what you're getting out of this. But for sure, Daisy smarter than Roy, right?
Yeah.
This guy?
Yeah. This guy.
So I'll let you take it from there.
Okay. I don't know what you want me to say. Maybe I should call up Daisy, and maybe she should come up here and set the record straight. And she just whips out her phone. And Daisy's like the top number in her contacts.
Listen, if you're going to call Daisy down here, then I have to go back to the office and get her fucking form. I got to fill that shit out too anyway.
Can't you just put it on the back of my form and then transcribe it to the other form?
Child, do you know nothing about how legal fucking paperwork works?
I don't know. You need a piece of paper? I got a printer. I can get you some copy paper.
God damn it, spell it.
You can just write it down.
I do not know how you have kept this place in fucking business if you don't know how goddamn paperwork works. All right, when's she gonna be up here?
Well, let me check. And she just dials Daisy. Her landline, obviously.
Like usual, and you're used to this, Sabella, it takes way too many rings for her to pick up.
Yeah. And like Sabella's like to the
Sabella, I don't have fucking time for
Yellow.
Daisy, What are you doing?
Sitting. What's up? What do you need?
Sheriff Applebottom Bum.
Jeez, you
Roy.
know my fucking name, Sabella.
Roy's here and he's asking a bunch of fucking questions.
What, did he get lost on his way to the donut shop, the fat ass? What does he want? What's he asking?
He's asking about yesterday. Would you come down here? He's mixing up the story. He's saying all them kids that you shot off 6 shots. I don't know.
Times?
Yes.
6 times?
Just
It was once. I'll bring my gun down there. There is 1 bullet missing from a full clip.
Oh my god, please don't bring your gun.
I bring my gun
Yo,
anywhere with me. What are you talking about?
I
I'll be there
will
in
need
15
that
minutes.
gun for
He hangs
evidence.
up.
Daisy, do not bring the gun. He is
She's
going to
already-
confiscate it.
She's
Dang
already
it.
on her way.
She's already She's coming. And she clicks her phone.
God dang it. All right, I will be back here in less than an hour. All right, I'm gonna
telling
need...
you, she's gonna be here in 10 minutes. You could probably just write it down on
You
the
know
copy
how fucking
paste.
long it takes me to get back to the goddamn. All right, I'm gonna get your statement. I'm gonna get you to sign it, and you are not gonna want to sign it as is. All right, I'm telling you that now.
I am gonna sign it as is because that's what happened. As is.
Roy, do you keep your a radio on you?
Yeah.
Dispatch is calling on the radio that there is an issue out at the Hauser Ranch, demanding immediate attention.
God damn it! I need fucking help in this job. All right. It may be a little bit longer than an hour. I'll be back though. All right. I'm gonna get your statement. I'm gonna get Daisy's. I'm gonna need that gun. All right.
She ain't gonna bring that gun. You'll never find it.
You need to not make this fucking difficult for yourself. All right. And you need to make Daisy realize that she needs to not make it more fucking difficult than her pure fucking existence does just by being alive.
I
all
feel
right?
like you're the one being difficult and taking the word over a few teeny boppers and not us grown adults. But okay. Okay.
He's walking towards the exit already.
Go pretend to be a cop somewhere else.
Sabella,
That's my girl.
Go save a life. Whatever. And she just like turns around and pets. Wow, I almost called him Binks. She'll pick up Babadook and go over to the counter.
he like runs his finger through his really short hair and just kind of like grips it like he wants to rip some of it out a little bit, and he just and marches out the door and gets in the car, takes off.
You can see Roy in your rear view as you're heading out. Daisy was coming over right away, right? If I don't miss
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I assume you rushed right over. I thought it would be funny that he can see Daisy hitting Blue Rose back
She
behind
throws
him.
a treat to Bess and throws on her jacket and storms out. After taking like 2 minutes to lock every single lock on the door.
There she is. There we go.
So when what happens when you get over to the Blue Rose? What do you do?
She parks. There's a usual spot she always parks, and just this cloud of dust behind her. And she climbs out of her car, locks it, shuts the door behind her, and there's no knocking or anything. But I guess it is. She doesn't need to knock anyway. The store is open. She'll walk right in, noticing that Roy's car isn't outside anymore. All right, I scare him off already.
Yeah. You just missed him. He got a call on the radio, and she's just over
Sure.
there like angrily sweeping.
Sure, I'm sure he did.
Yeah. He said 6 shots, Daisy. He said you fired off 6 shots, and
Where
that
did he hear that kind of story?
from those kids.
Oh, and he's gonna take the words of some kids over ours?
That's what I said. That's what I said. He made me so mad. He basically just said that we're just full of shit, Daisy. He said,
Well, he doesn't know how to do his damn job, so of course he's got the facts wrong.
of course.
He doesn't even wear a uniform.
I want you both to make a roll plus soul, please.
You got it, dude.
Daisy comes over and angrily picks up the dustpan and crouches down with a bit of a groan and holds it for you.
She'll sweep
12.
the dust into the pan and she'll Linda hold out a hand. Don't break a hip. Come here.
Isabella, you notice a look on Daisy's face. Daisy, you get the slight sensation that maybe it was just the law was just here. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure how deep you think conspiracies really go, but there's a bit of a paranoia that suddenly overwhelms you, making you think that you could be being listened to. That's the feeling, like someone's going to overhear your and Sabella's conversation at this point. You don't think it's safe to talk about this here for whatever reason.
Whatever it is, we should drop it. And she takes your hand and gets back up with the dustpan.
Sabella, you have a safe place in this house that you think is a safe place to talk.
You want to
Nice.
maybe, take this to the back room?
She looks over at you for a moment, having to turn her whole head to see you because of the eye patch on the one eye. And she just gives a firm little nod and dumps the dustpan and walks away, kind of holding her back a little bit because she didn't get time to do her stretches this morning, and flicks the sign from open to closed, locks the door, doesn't even ask permission to.
Yeah, she just does it. Sabella's used to this.
All right. And she's not going to say anything more on the matter until you guys get back there. And she'll come back over.
Yeah, Sabella will lead the way back to the back room, and she'll sit down in the chair furthest from the door.
Feel safe in here, Daisy.
She comes in and sort of visibly relaxes a little bit. Daisy's always stiff, but whenever she does get more extra paranoid, you might notice that her shoulders kind of hunch up a little bit closer to her head. And when she comes in, she shuts the door behind them and they go back to resting. I'm going to be in the paper about all this.
That doesn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. I got a call this morning, bright and early.
From a reporter?
Yep.
What did...
The last time they tried to ask me for a story, they came to my house and I chased them off, so I'm not surprised Coward took the phone route. I don't even know how he got my number. I don't give it out freely.
No, I thought you were supposed to be unlisted.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Guess they find a way, freaking rats.
Government.
Always. But he said something strange to me, and something I actually wanted to talk to our, I guess he calls himself police or whatever. Sure,
What'd he
doesn't
say?
like it. He doesn't know anything about Moss, it seems. Everybody, well, the reporter claims Everybody thinks the boy just drowned. It
You
wasn't
shitting
just
me?
drowning. I
That
don't shit around.
I know. I the officer told me the same exact thing when I said, Daisy, you saw it, right?
I had it in my goddamn hands. Of course I saw it.
Okay, so I'm not losing my mind, right? Like, there was a crap ton of moss in that boy's throat.
She turns away and pulls a cigarette out of her pocket and just swiftly lights it. Takes a long drag.
Sabella, when Daisy flicks the lighter, two things happen. One, you have, for some reason, out of the blue, an immediate image of your house burning down.
Oh, God.
But it's then washed away by you revisiting your scene on the pond, the strip mine that's flooded, that people fish and swim in, and the situation that happened with the kids. And you are in the canoe and you see Daisy yelling in the almost exact same tone that she's got now. You've heard it so many times that it doesn't even affect you the same way it affects other people. And she's pulled out her gun, and you know what's going to happen. She's going to shoot that speaker, but she doesn't. She fires again and again and again. You see one of the boys go down with a shoulder wound. You see another one fall into the water. The flash goes away, and Daisy's continuing her conversation, something about what happened with them fucking kids.
I told you there's something in that lake there. I told you, didn't I? I saw a shadow. I felt the rock of the boat, the moss, and there's no explaining that other than something
Daisy,
that you know about, maybe in one of your books. And so I thought, it's going to come here anyway. I wanted to talk to the officer anyway. Might as well knock out two birds, one stone.
you really did only shoot one bullet, right?
That's where we're going to change scenes. And we're going to cut to Elliot. It's movie magic. Elliot, it's later in the morning. Your class got out just a smidge earlier than usual. That's a bonus. You always like it. Some professors, you never get out early. You can count on the fact that they may even just linger for a minute or two. Today was a bountiful day in that regard.
Whoop, whoop.
You're getting out just a little bit early. Who watches, what's your son's name?
Oliver.
Oliver. And how old is Oliver?
He'd be like 4 now.
4-year-old. I remember the days.
Mm-hmm.
Not when I was 4. I don't remember those at all. Who watches Oliver in the summertime while you're retaking this class during the time that you should be at home with your son?
So it depends. Some days it's my mom if she has a rare weekday off, or it's her sister or the babysitter that's in town that everybody takes their kids to that watched me when I was a kid.
Which one has him today?
My mother. Today was a rare day off. And she's mad enough at me already for failing a class, so maybe I'll get out of it with Oliver being cute.
How do they get a hold of you? Do you carry a cell phone?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is that your method of communication?
Oh, yeah. I'm just like any other normal person. I have an iPhone.
How tech savvy is Oliver?
I try to, keep him outside, but he does know how to work most of that phone, but he doesn't know everything. Like, he knows how to get to YouTube and like his cat game and a couple other things, but he's not an overly tech savvy kid because I try to keep him outside. My mother really tries to keep him out of the technology.
But I'm sure you've shown him how to call you and 911.
Yeah.
You can do that at 4,
Mm-hmm.
3 even. All right. Last question. Well, second to last question, and then that'll be the last question. What are you listening to? It's about a 30-minute drive from school home. What do you listen to on the highway?
It's like her music taste is so weird. It'll go from being like heavy metal screaming bands like System of a Down, and then it'll go to like some soft like instrumental guitar riff, and then 2 seconds later it's some indie band that nobody's ever heard of and she gets teased for to no ends, and then it's a violin weird song that comes on next. So it kind of is all in between and in there, but she's kind of chosen like an indie band today to just kind of chill as she drives home. She's excited, but she's trying not to be overly anxious about meeting Sabella, so she's trying to keep it chill.
Now you've just given me more questions, but it's just made the last question bigger. The music is obviously putting you in a mood. The last question was going to be, what are your thoughts as you drive home? Now I'm really curious. I don't, it got bigger to me, but the question remains the same. What are you thinking about on the way home as you listen to this? Do you listen to like Spotify or something through your phone?
Yeah.
Or?
Oh yeah. It's Spotify. It's Spotify Premium, baby.
Right. On the whole trip, it's really odd. They keep playing whatever song you want to listen to, and then it seems like they keep trying to shove Superchunk down your throat. So there's always like a Superchunk song that comes up. It's one that you've given a thumbs down. I like Superchunk. Anyway, keep going.
Her brain kind of works on a lot of different levels where it races 10 miles ahead but lags 10 miles behind at the same time. So like on the surface level of every thought, it's kind of like, okay, I have to go home. I need to start some laundry. I need to like clean the bathroom. I need to like finish my psychology homework. And then it just keeps getting interrupted like a bad skipping like CD or something.
Right. By the good stuff. That's what I want to hear about.
Right. And so then it keeps going to like, oh shit, I'm hanging out with Bella. I'm so excited. Like, oh sweet, I haven't seen her in so long. And then it skips from that happy tune to, oh shit, I forgot her parents' death anniversary and I'm such a shitty friend and how could I do that to her? And oh god, then there's the murder thing that happened. Well, not the murder thing, but like a kid was killed in a drowning, so technically he was murdered by water. And then that was a weird thought. Why did I think of that?
It's funny that you use the word murder. Make a roll plus soul for me, please.
Ooh, 16.
Starting to think something's off. A small fact that your brain processes, just going to throw it into the whirlwind of the process on the entire drive. Small seed in a great big tornado of dust. A lot of people are saying Daisy like emptied her gun out there in the middle of that pond. It's likely somebody was shot. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Continue on with your thoughts.
It keep that kind of comes in there. She's heard the rumors. She heard the rumor that Daisy didn't do anything. She's heard the rumor that the gun was empty, that it was more rambunctious than it sounds. She knows Daisy on kind of a subpar like skim milk top layer level. She doesn't dislike her in any way.
Do you think it's true?
No, she's like, I don't think Daisy would actually murder like a small boy. A grown man maybe, but not like a child. That would not be like Daisy. She doesn't think.
Do you think it's far-fetched that she would unload a pistol out there?
No. She probably would. depending on what how mad she was.
Your cell phone rings.
Who is it? She glances, like she'll pick it up out of the cup holder and glance at it.
What's the number that would be coming from wherever your son is?
It would be my mom's cell phone number, probably.
So what to say, mom or Georgia?
Yeah, I'd
Or
say
do you
mom.
actually do first name, last name? Mom in parentheses?
No, it's like mom with the heart emoji, and it's like got a picture of her and Ollie like smiling, like cooking dinner or something silly like that.
Nice. You answer the phone. You have a quirky little thing that you say when you answer the phone when your mom
She
calls.
has a really bad like Spanish accent, and she's like, "Hola, ¿cómo estás?"
That's terrible. You hear some static. You hear the sound of your son go, "Mom," in some faint, weak, faraway voice, and then the phone cuts out.
Like,
Call drops.
shit. She like frantically looks to see if she has service because there are some dead spots in that part of the country.
There are. You're good at the moment.
She tries not to panic, but she does call the number like right back.
There's no answer.
I can't, no answer. Okay, that's odd. She tries like a text message and is like, "What's going on? Is there any response?"
Does your mom text?
Oh, yeah, not great. It takes her a long minute to type anything out, but she tries.
Phone starts ringing again. Mom.
Immediately hits answer and is like, "What the fuck?"
Mom. You hear your son again. It's all distorted and crackled, like you're getting terrible reception. Call drops.
She's like kind of freaking out now. She's a little worried. So she's like driving a little faster and she's calling the number again. And just like every time it hangs up, she just keeps calling it.
Never. About in between every other attempt, since you're trying so frequently, a call gets through to you. Same thing, only voice is a little bit more panicked, like they're not getting you either. Like he needs you
Mm-hmm.
and he can't get you.
Mm-hmm.
He's yelling through this machine and it's not making him feel good like it's supposed to when whatever's happening on that end is happening. What do you do?
Okay. I
You're
can
20
only
minutes away.
I can only think of one person to call, and it's Sabella because she's Oliver's godmother, and she's like the only one that I would trust to know what to do in this situation, like to just go over and check. So she calls Sabella.
Bella, you there?
Yeah. Yeah, she'll answer it. Hello?
Hey, I know that you're probably busy with the shop and everything, but Oliver, it keeps trying to call my phone and I can't get through to him, or he's not answering, or he can't hear me or something. There's weird distorted. Can you just go over and check
Incoming
on
call, your phone starts beeping.
Oh, is it my
Hey.
mom again?
Yes.
Fuck me. Okay, just can you go over and check on them, please? I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's like my phone is fritzing out, but it's a little weird, and Oliver's getting kind of scared, and I don't know what to do. Can you?
Go over to your mom's house? Your
Yeah.
house? Yep.
Yes.
And oh, she, I mean, and she looks at Daisy. Uh, we kind of got a situation over here. Are you in class still?
I am 20 minutes out of town. I just need somebody to go run and check on them, please, because Oliver sounds like he's about to lose his mind, and I'm about to lose my mind a little bit. Can you please just? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a jerk.
Elliot, what kind of vehicle does your mom drive?
Oh, she got a Toyota Prius.
Oh, she drives a Prius in
She's
her
got-
off days when she's not in the.
It's like a bright red Prius. Like you can't miss it.
Sabella, I'm gonna give you this bit of insight only because I grew up in Providence, and I know what it's like as you're standing there on the phone. You can see out your windows at the store from your position in town on Main Street. You can see because there's no any serious hills or anything out in this. Not even that many enough blocking trees in town. You got a straight shot view at the Quick Stop where Lacey works, one of your favorite customers. And as you're talking and trying to figure out what the fuck she's talking about, because this sort of thing doesn't happen, just sort of glancing out your window out of habit, you see her mom's red Prius down at the Quickie Mart. It's probably half a mile away, but you can see it. It's the bright red fucking Prius, the only one in town. And you see Georgia Hammonds. You can see her getting out. She's kind of a big girl. And you can see her go over to the passenger side, open up the door, and this little boy hops out, and they go bebopping Quick Stop while you're on the phone.
Dude, it's fine. Everything's cool. It's probably just a pocket dial. I see your mom right now. She's going into the mart with your kid.
Oh, she like you can hear that she sounds like an idiot and she feels like an idiot. Sorry, I just sorry. You're right. I probably was just overreacting. It's just weird because he never sounds like that and he never asks for me like that. You know, like he's not a scared kid. Like he doesn't. I don't know.
Well, they look fine. I mean, it's just the two of them going in there. I mean, didn't look like he was throwing a fit or nothing.
Call drops.
Hey, she just like is cussing and like she just like throws her phone in the side seat. She's just mad at technology now.
When you are coming back into town, Elliot, you pass your mom and your son. Small town. They're about to head to Granny's house. They both give you a big wave, bright smiles. Go home first before you go over to the Blue Rose. Maybe squeeze a hug in.
She like waves really big back, but she knows that they're headed to Grandma's house, and heaven forbid they be late to Grandma's house because that woman will throw a fit. So she goes home to change her shirt and throw her backpack in the house, and then heads to the Blue Rose.
We are going to then skip ahead in time. I'll bring all the last three in. We hit the last scene. Daisy and Sabella, you've had a few minutes to try to bounce your frustrations off of each other. I'm assuming Daisy has a point of view and Sabella has a point of view, albeit starting to get mixed and confused with some information. It's good that whatever that was going on with Elliot worked out. Elliot arrives. Hear the bells. You expect her just about right on time.
At this point, Daisy's probably like wildly defending herself. Like she brought her gun, she has it out of the holster, and she's like, "Look at this right here. Look at the clip," and she like empties it, trying to prove she shot once.
Elliot just like comes
But
around the
they're in
corner
the
with her
back
hands
room.
up. She's like, is there a reason? I mean, is Daisy, hi, how are you? And she's like just standing there with her hands up like, don't fucking shoot me, please.
Yeah, she turns and looks at Elliot as she enters, shoves the clip back into the gun. And
We're going to say for posterity, since you're close, sorry to interrupt, but there's just a couple of little hiccups in our narrative. Daisy had locked the front door. Elliot, you're
this
close
is
enough
true.
with Sabella. You probably know the private entrance.
Yeah.
I will let you color that in later. But we'll assume that there's more than just one public-facing door to this building. And this scene is taking place as you are walking into the back room.
Yes,
That's
we're in the
when-
back room.
That's when, you're walking in, Daisy swings around.
Yeah, you hear Daisy kind
Person
of like yelling
pointing
about
down.
bullets, and
Right.
you swing the door open, and she definitely has it at the ready.
So, did I interrupt?
Put your
something?
hands down. I'm not gonna fucking
It's-
shoot you.
Awesome. Would you? Okay, Daisy, please put the gun down. I believe you. I just needed to put it out there. I needed to make sure that I wasn't losing my mind and that all these other people were wrong. I believe you. You got one bullet missing from that clip. Hi, Elle.
Hi. What are you guys talking about? What's going on?
The sheriff was in here earlier saying all these things, acting crazy, talking about how those kids they thought Daisy shot 6 bullets and that there wasn't any moss, and it's just
Wait, you're telling me Toolbag Roy is on the case?
unfucking fortunately.
Sorry, I don't. Yeah. Me and him
Didn't
don't,
help
you
me
know.
4 years ago. He sure as hell ain't helping me now.
You
I
sure
don't know
as
why
hell-
he's still fucking cop.
All right.
Daisy,
Well,
when did you check the clip to the gun that you fired?
Right about the time that Elle was walking in was when I had emptied the clip to check it. Is
Wolf of
it?
Soul.
Oh,
Oh.
man.
Curtis, no.
Frame myself.
uh-oh.
Do. 7! Damn it!
Yeah, you're missing some bullets. It's so funny. This is actually not the first time you checked it. You actually checked it at home the day of when you got home. You just didn't put a bullet in it. And now, just in reiteration, 100% confident in what you're about to see. You even say the words, but as you pop it and look at it, you realize you're short. You can close it back up, and whether you express that information to the other people in the room is totally up to you.
She ain't gonna say anything.
She's
Well-
like, I swear to God, I only got one missing. Pops it out. Elle walks in at just the right time, and she kind of looks at the clip and puts it back in and stuffs her gun away. She'll keep that information to herself at this
Yeah.
time.
Elle just like leans against the back wall and looks between the two of you, and she looks so lost and dazed and confused, and she just like shakes her head, and you see the curls like flopping side to side as she does.
Sit, you can sit down. Come here. Come sit down. Make yourself comfy. Come on. We got a chair.
So she waddles over and she sits all scrunched up in the chair, and just keeps looking at the two of them. And she just finally blurts out, "Are you gonna tell me like what the fuck actually happened, or are we gonna keep just kind of shuffling around? What's going on? What I mean,
I'm telling you, the sheriff was here. He said that Daisy fired 6 shots when I for sure saw her only fire one at the speaker. She hit it, it exploded. She didn't shoot any kids. It was fine. It was the one shot, and then the kids started drowning. She got in there in the water, pulled him out, and there's just so much moss in this boy, and she was pulling him out, and he asphyxiated on the goo. And that's it. That's what I told the sheriff, and he doesn't believe me. He's saying that we, and she looks at Daisy, gestures, are full of shit.
sorry, I got caught up on goo. What?
Yeah, so
Elliot and Sabella roll plus soul for me, please. What was that? What did you say?
It's fine. Whatever he looks into, he's not going to find anything because we didn't do anything. It's fucking
18.
ridiculous.
I guess I'm just confused on what goo is supposed to mean.
No, I'm telling you, dude. And like she gets like real close and serious.
And she just like tries to like get some space.
There was moss. There were fistfuls of sea moss, lake moss, the stuff at the bottom of the lake that freaks me out when it touches my feet. That stuff, it was in his throat. And Daisy kept on pulling just fists of it out. I can't get the fucking image out of my brain. It was just so much.
Daisy just leans back and smokes.
As you are saying this, Sabella, there's a flash. You and Elliot, you are continuing to go through this monologue or diatribe or whatever you want to call it, and you actually start pointing at the scene that is happening at the pond on the dock in front of both of you. Elliot, you see it. It's just for a moment, but you're both there and you're pointing, and you both can see Sabella standing on the dock or wherever she was at the moment that all of this was happening. I assume you were standing there over Daisy. Daisy is bent over this kid. There is another boy lying on the dock, bleeding. You can see some blood pooled in the water. The smoking gun lays beside Daisy as she's bent over helping this boy. You hear some birds behind you, and you turn your heads. You see the tree. You turn your heads and you see each other, and back at Daisy in the pond. You can hear the blackbirds louder. Cacophonous. It begins. You're watching Daisy, and you can almost hear gunshots. In fact, you see another one of the teenage boys fall as if he'd been shot. Daisy still given CPR. And you get closer and closer, and you realize that she's not doing CPR. She is ripping this boy's face, his tongue. She's ripping his tongue out of his mouth with her teeth. And she starts to shake as it starts to break free from its base, the very back of his throat. And she pulls this huge chunk and just spits it. And you can hear her mutter something like, "Can you breathe now, you little fucking shit? Did that clear things up for you?" That's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Ah!
Oh shit.
What the fuck?
Oh no.
Oh god.
I mean,
Ooh.
sounds like Daisy.
Classic.
It
Classic Daisy move.
It does,
Oh,
kind of, doesn't
man.
it?
Oh no.
Oh
I've
She's
never
just
seen her turn into a werewolf of a person before.
Smoking a cigarette in the corner right now. Like, everybody thinks I'm crazy, but everybody is crazy.
And here Elle and I are watching this scene like
You're just like zoning out. Like,
no.
should I go?
Kids are just getting weird these days.
oh god.
Smoking
Oh.
the weed.
Wow.
Well, we went a little long. Sorry
That's
about that.
Oops. Sorry,
Um,
Chris.
It's all right.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh,
That's,
Roy
I
was great.
clicked the wrong
Bring-
button.
Wait.
Bring him on in.
I
I
clicked the wrong
cannot
button
wait.
because this was the one thing I had not planned for, because somehow I had it in my head that you were just going to be in and out, and I don't know why I didn't think about that. So,
I'll
here's
just
why-
be
why-
disembodied, Roy.
I'm going to get you. While I'm doing that, let's go ahead and start. Let's talk to the newest member. We'll hear from Elliot. What do you think about being in Heartland? What do you think about being Elliot? What do you think about today? And then you're going to have a whole bunch of new fans that fall in love with this show. So let's go ahead and start throwing out plugs. We'll start with you, and let me find Roy.
So my name is Erica, and I play Elliot. You can find me on the Instagrams and the Twitters at EricaandMore97. And well, it started off a little different than I thought was gonna happen with that whole situation. I don't know. Like, I'm excited to have new characters and see where this goes. This is a lot different than what we've done in the past. Although, there's a little bit of Daisy that reminds me a little bit of Joel, and there's a little bit of everything that reminds me of other characters that we've seen and played before. So it'll be interesting to see how we all develop these new and lovely characters. I'm very intrigued by this Daisy tearing somebody's face apart. Oh, geez. And I can't wait to meet Roy. I've already called him a tool bag. I haven't even met him.
I didn't say
Everyone
it.
hates Roy.
Well, it's
Hashtag
it's not pretty. but-
Hashtag Toolbag Roy.
I didn't
At
say
least
it,
he's
but
there. Hi, Chris.
when Elliot said tool bag, Daisy definitely like went like, you might be right.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys had some gems. Okay, there's Roy. So, okay, go ahead, Elliot. We love having you, by the way.
Oh, great. I'm so glad. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and get on our Discord, and then you can talk to all of us, and then we can talk more about all the fun character development, because this story, I don't know if anybody's noticed by now, we've done a lot of work to make these fully fleshed out characters instead of just whatever, I don't know, I didn't think about it. Like,
It would not be a surprise to hear me ask for blood types.
oh, jeez, I don't even know my own blood type, man.
Oh.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, negative is mine.
Very
Awesome.
good.
Thank you. Was that all
Yes.
your plugs?
No, one more. Follow us on YouTube, and then you can watch all of these episodes. You can watch all of our past episodes. If you don't know who I'm talking about when I say Joel or Harvey or Clutch or Liam or Monet or Benjamin, then you should go on our YouTube page and watch all of that stuff and everything else that we have that is right up there for you. It's free. Click the subscribe button, smack the bell, and be notified when we upload.
Yeah,
Okay,
and you
now
can
done.
watch all the ugly fuck ups we've had over the past year getting to this point. I love it. And you've been with us the whole time, Erica. Thank you so much. I love having you in Heartland now. I couldn't wait. When we were talking about it, it's like, I need to put mix A and mix this group B. And
So you were trying to make mixed drinks, and how's that going for you?
I think of it more as like the Resident Evil serum room where you got to mix the white with the blue to get the whatever.
Very good.
that kind of stuff. Anyways, our other new person to the Heartland. Anyways, I was so happy that you would agreed to come in for one scene. I hope it was fun for you. Some of the things that you guys said was just genius. I loved it. I already started writing some stuff down, and you had a little bit of Doc from Deadwood come out in some of the things you said, and he is one of my absolute all-time favorite characters. So I was a mark from the beginning. So welcome to Heartland, Chris.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna totally break kayfabe on that. My name is Chris Stonecipher. You can find me on Twitter at Chris Stonecipher. You can find me here, of course, every Friday. Well, most Fridays. I don't know. It will be determined by other forces how big of a role Roy's gonna have. I think, given that literally everyone else hates him. I mean,
I hate
you know.
you. I just
Oh.
don't like
he's a
you.
cop. What do you expect?
We have plans for like some,
I
you know,
love
just
him.
a Roy and Elliot episode, and just a Roy and Sabella episode. All kinds of fun things. Oh, we'll get you out there, Roy. Don't you worry about it. They'll be loving you by the end.
We just have to always pick one character to hate, Chris. And unfortunately, it's now
It's
twice
like
that it's
always
been you.
me.
It's now twice that it's
If
been you.
it's not Dr. K, it's Roy.
Yep. Sorry. Just you do it to yourself, dude. I don't know.
Listen, the I feel, and this is just my perspective on characters in general, is that your best, most interesting characters are always at least a little bit unlikable, but they have a reason to be so. So that's what
You're-
I try to do.
You're very right, and you're very good at it. Congratulations.
I'll
That's
go
what-
eat
Yes,
the
Yes,
ramen.
you're
So
so
good.
good at being unlikable.
Go eat some fucking ramen now, jerk.
And let's
If you
not-
want to understand that reference, go back to our Manhattan game, Long Strange Tips Season 1. Which again you can find on our YouTube channel, but make sure you follow TGRP Theater, which is us as just kind of a production group for KULT Divinity Lost. Follow us on Twitter, and TGRP Theater, of course, is our YouTube channel. And join our Discord specifically, because we would love to talk to you about all of our wonderful games.
Yes, and in fact, we've gotten just about, I think, everybody. I know everybody from Saints and Sinners, and I think the Wrath and 50s Vegas guys. I'm suddenly having a brain fart. How bad is that? I've only ever. Oh, it's right there in chat. You can see it. It just popped up. Did I not put the title in that plug? God.
I really wasn't gonna say anything until later, but
Yikes.
And I was about to call you Krista. Erica, where's my intern? For God's sakes. If I don't get that intern, I'm never going to get this shit right. I swear to God.
I'm trying, man. I can't find the right one that's just evil enough to work with you. You know,
That's
they're
also willing
all
to work
too
for
nice.
literally nothing.
There's that as well.
Right. Well, now I've embarrassed myself. So
No.
I'm on a mission, but luckily I have a computer. The place of wrath and tears. Oh my God. It's like finally remembering my own last name. I have to go get checked for early onset or having me.
Oh no.
No, it's not the days of LSD that did it. KULT. Anyway.
It was the meth.
Yes. They too, long story short, have all joined our Discord. For fuck's sake, come talk KULT with us too. Users of. Now let's go to Sabella.
Take
He's
your time.
forgotten all of our names.
Play me off.
We
Sammy.
don't
Hit
exist.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-da. Yes, hi, hello. My name is Krista, and I play Sabella. What a good episode.
See how easy that was for her?
You can find me on the Instagram at Crease the Barista. You can also find me on Twitter. But why would you want to? I don't post anything.
It's for fans.
I
Why?
But what content are they? I don't know. Whatever. If you like me, go ahead and follow me. It's
On a
there
mission.
in the credits. Go ahead for it. I love Sabella so much, and this just makes me so happy. And I love you all. And this is a good season already. And we're only on episode 2.
I know. Thank you so much. I was so excited. But I have to say, Sabella, I was probably 10 more excited to see Daisy, only because I almost always know what Sabella's going to say. I never know what Daisy's going to say. When I think she's going to go right, she goes left. When I think she's going to go left, she goes right. Every time. That's my secret to you.
I'm sorry.
See, once again,
She has a mind of her own.
1 hour later, still describing her house.
Her house. I told Curtis, I was like, okay, we're gonna get the long descriptions out of the way. I'll never have to describe it again.
it was wonderful. I wish I had more time to get the picture key.
It's okay. It's all in my
we'll get
roll
it.
20. Yes, hello. I play Daisy. I am Jaylee. I talk a lot. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jahoy_matey. Also join the Discord. I don't know if they mentioned that already. It's a different name than our Twitch channel. Our Twitch channel is called Divinity Lost by the wonderful folks over at Helmgast. Our Discord is TTRP Theater. So go over there and say hi, talk about the shows, post a few memes. It's awesome. It's a really fun little community. Yeah, I love this show. I love Daisy. I just get to be a hard ass, and it's so much fun. And I'm already can't wait to meet. Well, I've already met Roy technically, but I can't wait to interact with Roy. And we have a few other characters later on that I'm excited to meet too. I'm just excited for this whole thing and to see where it's going. Yeah. That's all I got.
Lots of wonderful things.
Your ear off anymore.
No, you're awesome. I love you. I love all of you for the wonderful job you did tonight. Thank you so much for coming and playing this wonderful game with me. Thank you again, audience, to the Raiders from Encounter Roleplay that showed up. I know we have a stream that goes at the exact same time. Luckily, we were going long tonight, so you guys got to watch a little bit more than you did last week. You got to watch us say goodbye last week. I don't think I can talk this group into staying up any later, so we're probably not going to get that worked out, but fist pump. My name is Curtis. I got a self-plug. I am the Twitch director and media producer for Helmgast and the KULT channel. And I keep looking over here because that's where my notes are. I am also the executive director of TTRP Theater. They keep saying it's different. TTRP Theater is the company behind all of the wonderful things that we do on the KULT Divinity Lost channel. We also make some other stuff too, like Jaylee GM's a Dungeon World podcast that we're working on called 4 PCs and a Podcast, and that is absolutely awesome. I play a turtle person, and it's worth coming to listen to me botch that up. So that's a wonderful thing. We've got a KULT podcast that we do. Duke, the writer of Heartland, who was a cast member on our previous Friday night shows, is taking a backstage role this season and is writing Heartland episode by episode and live rewrites via Discord during the show. And he is also working on a podcast that's an actual play of the Root podcasting game. It would be absolutely awesome. They are also on Twitter with 4 PCs, and they are fighting tooth and tail. Duke, put the Twitter handle for those in chat, because it's like, if off the top of my head, I'm going to give up on trying to remember. So check out all of the wonderful things we do. We also got a how-to KULT with the 5th of that stepping into the Game Master. I think we're talking about the Horror Contract. Will be coming out next week. The KULT podcast I already talked about. lots of other wonderful things. Renaissance City, Dukes, Prowlers, and Paragons. Absolutely hilarious podcast. You got to check that out. Superheroes that like to shop for stuff. Lots of cool things that we do at TTRP Theater. You can find us at multiple places on social media, YouTube, all of that good stuff. But you can find access to all of that, even our Patreon, if you like this craziness and want to help us. All of that is at ttrptheater.com. Ask a question, go to our Discord and ask Izzy Skirmish. That's his handle. He expects 10 to 1,500 instant messages a day. So if you throw in a few extra random questions, he will not mind. Thank you, Helmgast, for this amazing game. If any of you out there watching want to play KULT on your own, you can go to KULTDivinityLost.com, and they have free source material and starter stuff to get you going. Thanks again, everyone. We love you. Be kind to each other. Save the bad stuff for the cult. Good night. Sweet dreams. We love you.
Good night, sweet
Sweet
dreams.
dreams. We love
We love
you.
you.
Be
Hang
kind. Wash
on
your
a
hands.
second. This is
Don't
all.
shoot at children.
Just keep waving
Wash your
because all of this is
hands,
messed up
wash your
now.
butt,
Everybody.
wash your
yes,
feet.
please
Wash your
butt.
Did you
face.
say wash your hands?
Clean out your
You gotta wash your
ears.
hands, but then you gotta.